Good afternoon, lovely people out there, and welcome to a piece of the puzzle here with Yes Exclusive Flowers. And we have a very special lady with us from the lovely Garden Roots, Lynette de Jager from Lynette Violinist. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Lovely seeing you.
Yes, and yourself?
Thank you. Lynette Violinist gives away already a lot of what you are doing, maybe for the people who do not know. You have a huge passion for music. Some people maybe think violinists are quite boring, and it's quite a boring style of music. I have played myself violin like many years ago. I know it's not the case. It can be really entertaining. And obviously the way also how you perform and interpret modern songs is quite different from the just old-fashioned style of playing violin.
Classical style, yeah.
Tell us like a little bit more of like when did you start playing and how did your love for music came about, and specifically also for the instrument.
So I started playing violin at the age of 10. As my music progressed, you just develop a love for your instrument as well. And in general, I would say my love for music has evolved into classical training, which I received, and into more modern stream, contemporary music. So that is what I enjoy doing, performing.
And I mean, by the age of 10, I mean, I know how it goes, but like, I can still remember. That's a secret, a family secret. Lock, Peter Wagen. That was actually the first thing that she had to learn. Lock, Peter Wagen, which means like a train, and what is the trailer of the train, right? Yeah. But that I cannot compare with you at all whatsoever. But what made I wrong? Actually, that you not ended up like her. No, unfortunately not. But I don't want to compete also. But tell us, like, I mean, out of all the instruments that are out there, like, why violin? I mean, you could have maybe gone with any other instrument, but what was the attachment to that instrument?
So it's quite an interesting story how I came to play violin. I discovered my grandfather's violin in the cupboard when I was 9 years old, and it was all broken. And my parents told me it was my grandfather's, and of course I'm very sentimental. So I asked them, please, can we have it restored? And my parents restored the violin, and I started taking lessons. So it was, I would almost say, coincidence. And like I previously mentioned, then my love just developed for the instrument as I progressed, learning and deciding to eventually go into a career of music and being a violinist.
That's quite interesting. Yeah. So it means like your grandpa had already the music team, like that you inherited somehow.
Yes, both my grandparents, in fact, were violin players. So my one grandfather's violin I inherited, and yes, a musical family. It's also it's a contributing factor to music.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lovely story. But also interesting, your first violin was also your past brother. From your grandpa's brother. Yeah. I mean, it's somehow, because I think that's why I also asked, because I mean, by the age of 9 or 10, usually, like, I mean, maybe a piano is something that is like more accessible for many, like, or it's more out there, but a violin is not something that you easily like get in touch with, and you really want to do it. Is there like, are you from the Garden Route originally? Like, where did you get your training?
So I'm actually a farm girl from the Free State, and then we moved to George when I was 7 years old, 7, 8, and then I discovered the violin, and then I took up lessons at the age of 10. So basically, I received my training in the Garden Route, and when I was in high school, I would go to Stellenbosch for lessons of Professor Suzanne Martens. So my
Okay.
tutoring wasn't just from one teacher. So sometimes we would have fantastic performances coming to the Golden Route. I mean, my mom usually would organize, can Lynette please have a lesson? So, um, yeah, I've had various influences. So the main training was in the Golden Route, George.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, we are big promoters for this area for many reasons. I mean, first of all, we also live here, but also for the fact that there are a lot of great service providers, like in the larger event industry. I mean, from entertainment down to beautiful venues. And I mean, just great people around. So it's actually nice to see that you have been even trained here, and that you are doing this. Yeah, I mean, you are an entertainer. You are doing this. I mean, before COVID, I assume that you do this full time, or like, is there something that you're doing on the side?
So yes, the garden has definitely got a lot of talented people and florists, and you can name it all. So sorry, what was your question before that?
I asked if you're doing this, like if you were doing this full time, if
Yeah.
musician, like if that's your full time profession now.
Yes, so I've become I'm a musician, and also I did teaching. So I gave lessons at private schools, taught there, and then I decided to enter a career of performing. So at wedding events, corporates, teaching, so whatever the booking is.
Okay,
So
and we will later on
uh,
here. I'm sorry, just carry on.
pardon? Yes, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say later on we will hear you playing, so you will give us the pleasure to play for us a little bit. And I mean, like when I heard you the first time, I was just blown away, and I said, "Wow, this is such a beautiful combination of let's say like a modern twist of playing violin and the combination with the classical part. Yeah. So you have this. I don't know if I say it right or wrong. You have this touch of Vanessa May for me.
Yes, the influence. She was definitely the one who brought the gift of classical music and of a cross figure between that and modern music, giving the violin a whole new look. That way.
Yeah. How you came actually to that point when you said, okay, I'm not going full classical. I'm going a little bit more like into this combination.
So that shift came after my studies. So I'm classically trained with the master's degree, and then from bookings and so on, people requesting songs. I noticed that people like more modern music, things that they hear on the radio, and then you play it on the violin. Like what? They never knew you could actually play that on a classical instrument. So according to requests, that is how I stepped into the more modern contemporary music on the violin. You expect the classical music, but yes, it's an instrument that you can actually play anything on. So they say the violin is also close to the human voice. So I
Yeah.
would say the opportunities which you have on the violin are quite limited. It's wonderful.
That's amazing. Maybe we'll jump a little bit into like the current situation that you are in as a full-time musician. And I mean, my heart goes out to every artist right now, because we all know that you are in a rather difficult situation due to the lockdown regulations that we all know of. I mean, stage 3 out of 5, and very limited private events are possible. Event like weddings only in the capacity of the couple plus 2 witnesses, and no big celebration. So where does that leave you like right now? So what is the status for you, and how have you been coping? I mean, I have seen you play also um, like for the pleasure and for, I think, like just giving hope and some beautiful emotions to people to listen to you. But just tell us a little bit about your current situation right now.
Yes, so due to COVID, performances and so are cancelled, so you don't play in front of the audience. So that is one of the things I miss very much of performing, is having contact with the people, interaction and so forth. So like you and I are having this discussion now, it's over the screen. So during this time, everything has become very virtual. So on the net, so it's also got its ups and its downs, but luckily we have this platform. So I've been incorporating or using this to advertise and post videos online and so on. So COVID has had a negative effect on also marketing, but that is when one has to be strategic as to how you're going to overcome, how you're going to be productive, and not find yourself in a lockdown where your music is stagnant. So yeah, it's different things that you have to think of and take in consideration. But all in all, a positive mentality and outlook on the situation is quite important, especially being a musician and not being able to um, have an income. So
Yeah. I mean, this is the reality of the matter. I mean, it's nice to obviously share your passion with the world. But by the end of the day, you have also bills to pay. You know, I mean, you have like responsibilities. You have a life to live, and I think there are so many also people out there who can relate. I mean, everyone right now as well in the wedding industry is really struggling because most of the events, if at all, have either been cancelled or postponed to next year. But that doesn't help people to really survive the time that we live in now. To know maybe that next year there are events out there. So how do you try to bridge the gap between, I mean, knowing that maybe bigger events or events that you will be booked for will only take place next year, and what is in your mind, or do you say, no, I don't have a solution right now, I'm taking day by day, like how it comes, or what is your perspective of how you can maybe as a musician like bridge the time?
yes, so there's a lot of uncertainty, as you mentioned now, with COVID, and bridging that fissure is to, like I said, also have a positive mentality. You don't know where things are going to go back to normal, but yeah, thinking ahead and coming forward plans. And for example, I know it's not a wonderful um, example to mention, but funerals, etc. There are requests to play at that. Yes, and
But this is
in
still
fact,
wonderful. I mean, this is a good example because this, I mean, like we all used to avoid to think or to speak about death because this is somehow not part of our life, like in our communication. But in these days, I think death became somehow a topic, yeah, because it's part of our current life. And I think it's the same with the flowers. I spoke to so many florists, and in particular at the beginning of the lockdown, when there only funeral services had been permitted. So I said, why are you not looking into this? And I mean, not only because of the current situation, but I mean, anytime, like every day, people are dying on normal circumstances, not only on COVID, you know. And I mean, they deserve a beautiful goodbye, you know, and with beautiful flowers, with music, to celebrate their life. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, to do that. And that's why for me this is a perfect example when you say at least this is a possibility to make an income, which is actually very nice to celebrate somebody's life, even though that we know, like that funerals for COVID patients, for example, are still very devastating. That people can only say goodbye from a far distance. There's only online services and things like that, which is quite weird. So that's why I really enjoy that you say there is a possibility for somehow a celebration of life by saying goodbye to people.
Yes, and in fact, this morning I played at a funeral, and it was quite an unusual, setup, seeing the people so far apart in space. The music is so unifying, and also the different songs repertoire that you play evokes an emotion and a memory. So, or like you mentioned, all that just brings a holistic goodbye, even if there's social distancing. So
And I
it's
mean,
very
music, by the end of the day, it touches your heart, I mean, this is what music does. And I think, like, on special occasions, and I mean, obviously weddings are a special occasion, and I think we can all agree that even though we are okay supplying flowers for a funeral or playing at a funeral, I mean, obviously we all like just from a liking perspective, to be surrounded by happy moments much more than like be surrounded with like sad moments, because
and how things are currently.
yes, and I mean, but nonetheless, it is something that is part of our life, and sadness and grief and anger and all of that is also part of the life. It's not only about happy tears; it's also about like sad tears. And I think, like, I mean, music is something that goes very deep, and really like touches, like, yeah, the like every, and creates memories. Yeah, and it obviously also like it creates memories, and it creates a certain atmosphere, and I think that is what music is great for in either circumstances.
Yes, definitely.
Just when we are there, like I mean, normally we go a little bit further on, but how people can book you, maybe for what events are you available right now? For funerals, for also we said maybe for private, intimate events, maybe home celebrations with social distancing. So people can book you how?
Yes, so I've got a website, www.lynetteviolinist.com, or a Facebook page, Lynette Violinist. So it's quite easy to contact me. Just drop an email, and I am available for any event as long as it adheres to the rules of social distancing, as we all know, and health first and being cautious. So yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you. So so just maybe like to come back, like when playing music, when you select, for example, a playlist or like songs for an event, like how do you like usually do that? Like for example, now for weddings, that people just like get the idea of what you actually do or how you prepare for such an event. Like there's a couple, for example, like do you go through with them what is their favorite songs? Are they giving you mostly already songs? Like how many? Like I don't know. You have a repertoire of how many songs actually, and I guess it's growing. So just give people maybe also an idea of how long it takes you to learn a certain song, just a little bit more practice from what you're doing.
Yes, so I like to, if I get a wedding booking, I like to meet up with the couple. We sit down. I like to get to know them. I ask them what music they like. They're welcome to make requests, and then that is also how my repertoire grows, from people making requests, and then just to put the music in with a special day, like a happy memory they might have from hearing a tune, and then ask me, Lynette, can you play that on the violin? Then I go and find the music, and then I learn it. It doesn't take that long. It depends on obviously how much I practice. And it's also your question regarding repertoire. It's very important to take in consideration that so many people have a vast, how can I say, not all people like the same music. So it's important to have different pieces for every occasion and having a suitable repertoire for, let's say, a wedding, for the ceremony. You've got your sacred music, which is usually just making the atmosphere, and then at the canopy or the reception, you've got your more lively music, which is entertaining. So with every violin performance and with every wedding, my repertoire is tailor-made to fit what the people would like to hear. So it is suited, and but it just creates that lovely ambiance of celebration. So like I previously mentioned, sitting down, getting to know the wedding couple, seeing what they like, and then taking it from there.
That's great. Yes, that's. I mean, that is what bespoke music is by the end also all about. You know, I mean, you can play like different songs, but specifically for weddings, I mean, it is a unique, like a unique day that should be tailored to the couple's characters. You know, I mean, not everyone likes a certain style of music, as you just said. So, like everything really just needs to fit perfectly to who the couple is and what they would like to see. It's not your, like, I mean, obviously, I think you play maybe for yourself something completely different than what you maybe also sometimes get requested to play.
Yes, especially, you know, it's what, and when the bride, yeah, sometimes the bride doesn't like the bridal march, then they prefer canon and D. So all of those little things add the fun touches to making the wedding memorable.
For how long usually on a wedding, for example, when people book you and they pay you a fee, for how long usually you play then?
So it depends on whether it's going to be the ceremony, the reception, or even during the precision of the evening. So usually it's about 2 hours to 3 hours, depending if there's traveling involved as well. But people usually book me for a ceremony and also for the entertainment at the reception.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, actually, to have you also during the night. Nice.
Can I actually ask you, like, in your own private capacity, what type of music are you listening to?
So currently, what's playing on the radio, what is trending. So I can't keep my ear on the ground, you know, being in touch with things and hits and so forth. And I also enjoy listening to classical music and, you know, just
Do you
a
have
general
a favorite componist?
favorite composer? I would say Beethoven, Mozart, in the classical, and also film music. I'm very interested in film music, like John Williams composing Schindler's List for the film. So they're wonderful composers out there. So it's difficult earmarking a favorite. So each one is, you know, got a different style and way of composing, which you can take to heart and appreciate.
Did you already have the chance, and I'm not sure, did you already have the chance to travel for your music, like further than in South Africa? Like, did it take you already to different places?
Yes, I must say that's one thing about music which has been so wonderful to me in violin and being able to perform is the bookings that you get, especially the corporates. You travel quite a lot. So one of my favorite memorable experiences was playing for Vox and they sent me to Namibia. So we all got together there and we went into the dunes. We went 4x4, quad biking. So that was a memorable experience. So each performance is so different. It takes you to places which you've never, you know, experienced. Even another example is a wedding I played at in the Karoo. One would think there are no waterfalls and there are beautiful mountains in certain areas. And I went to go and play at this wedding, and we went so far into the mountains where we finally came to this huge cliff and this beautiful waterfall, and the setting was just so surreal. and magical. So you experience everything. I'm sure you can also say agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I hope you had a videographer with you at that point, because I'm already picturing in my mind like how amazing it would have been.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, like, when we have like come over this next like couple of months, and 2020 is on the rise. So what is going 2021? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm low.
Because we hope that 2020 is
Yeah,
over.
it's going fast. Yeah. Like there was so much hope like for 2020. I think we just like want to pass this like quickly. Yeah, what I want to know, like, what is the situation for you right now? I assume you have already quite a lot of bookings for 2021, because the most of the events have been postponed to 2021. But is there still like space, and what is it what you actually really feel like that you maybe want to do in 2021, so that you maybe postpone for the time? I mean, for us, just saying that we just like recently decided we always wanted to go to Namakwaland, and we said, okay, we are going to Namakwaland now. If we are not doing this now, so like this year, we may be not doing this anytime soon. So things like that we maybe want to do all the time when this is somehow over. Is this something that you have in mind?
So these uncertain times have been also have given us a chance to reconsider things that we appreciate in life, to the small things that we usually when life is in such a rat race and so rushed that we miss out on life. So this time has really made us just think, and especially me, being a musician, wanting to take my music abroad, going overseas. In fact, I was going to go in April, and then lockdown occurred. So yeah, I think just reaching people, not just out of a perspective of making money, but touching lives, touching hearts, also with upliftment of music in rural areas. Um, yeah, so personally for me, I would like to travel and play music, just take my violin along, just explore and get to know other musicians as well and just have fun.
That's right.
Great.
Do you actually, where in April you would have been traveled?
Pardon?
To where in April you would have been traveled?
So I would have gone to France and Tunis.
Oh wow, that
Ay,
sounds
ay,
amazing.
ay. This is the like the tears are very big. Like I can already like this is I can relate to that. I mean France, amazing. But I mean for you specifically, I mean with the violin, like opposed to maybe some other artists that have huge instruments, it makes it also like much easier in a way to travel with the violin and not with the cello, for example. Uh,
Oh, with the piano.
or with the piano.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But
I
oh,
must
shame.
say, violin
Have
is
you, yeah, have you ever done street music? I was just thinking that because in Europe, living in Europe, we are very much used to street music, and this is not like a bad way of doing music. It is a very like, even for well-known like musicians, they even sometimes go back to the street to get this direct contact to the people, and to have this pure feeling.
yeah, so basking in general is not so big in South Africa as it is in Europe, with the Western culture. So yes, I love basking and performing in a public space, for example, at the mall. I've done lots of gigs there. And also now during lockdown, I decided to play violin outside at our yard in front of the street, and many people came to support and came out of their houses and brought chairs and just enjoyed the music. So that was like a street performance, literally. And yeah, I think you just become in touch with the people. It's wonderful also, receiving a